This podcast is meant for mature audiences only and contains strong sexual language. Welcome to Sex, Love, and the Black Experience with your hosts, Miss Kiki Love and Miss neshab of Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses. We're just two dope sisters who love to talk about sex and give our amazing guests a platform to share their experiences and expertise as it pertains to sex, love, and the Black experience. So let's get started. All right, so welcome to another edition of Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast. I am your co-host, Miss neshab, and
I'm Miss Kiki Love.
And we are the Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses. Yeah. So, of course, we always start off with our therapy session. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we'll bring our special guest on today. Yes. So, Kiki, what's going on? What's on your mind?
What is going on? A lot in my personal life. So yeah, it's been a lot of professional things going on with me, career changes, things like that. So trying to work through all of that. It's a challenge. I'll say that it's a challenge, and I'm trying not to, 'cause I gave myself a certain amount of time, right, to position myself from one area of my life to this new area. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you need a little push, if that makes sense. Sometimes you need a little push to really give you a good kick in the ass, because I do get complacent and I get comfortable. And so I think this is a way of saying, okay, bitch. All right, it's either shit or get off the pot.
Basically, I feel like that too. I get complacent sometimes too.
Because you get
other people push. Yeah,
you get very comfortable,
and we are afraid of the unknown.
Right, especially as Black folks, when you work these very white, very corporate jobs, and you get very comfortable in said job, right? And you're trying to position yourself to do other things outside of that. That is a very scary thing, to be an entrepreneur, right? Because most of us as Black people are not. That's just facts, right? When we work these white jobs, we just because again, like how the generations were, once you get that good job, you stay on that job.
Well, but at that time, it was like that. Like my grandparents, they could work a job for 40 years.
Exactly.
Nowadays, it's not like that. And then even this generation, they
preserve mental health.
Well, their whole thing is like, that job wasn't good for my psyche, I quit. Right. And we as parents, like our older people, we be looking like, oh my God. And they don't even have nothing set up.
Right.
I'm like, how you have so much courage?
Right. I be like, so you ain't got no benefits, got no 401k.
Nothing. They just be like, it didn't work for me, and I figured it. I'm gonna figure something else out. And I'm, my grandparents. I remember when I get a job, they be like, how long you been on your job? I'll be like 7 years. Oh, you go. That's good.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like coming out of that mindset sometimes. Yeah. But
because I really haven't made an announcement or anything like that.
Yeah.
Our special guest knows what I'm going through right now, but nobody in the inner circle knows what I'm going through. And so it's because I've been in this position for quite a bit in my corporate world, I'll say that. And I've been doing what I've been doing almost 15 years total.
Yeah.
And that's that's a chunk of my life that I've been doing what I've been doing. And then to transition in the middle of being in this corporate space to do what I do now. And then it's it's a very scary thing, because none of what I'm doing right now is financial. I'm not making let's just be all the way real on this podcast. We not getting paid, nigga.
We doing this out of love.
Right.
We do a lot of things. Now we do it out of love. Right. We know eventually, you know what I'm saying?
Finances
will come, but we know that it's a purpose, right? It's a purpose in what we're doing.
You know, people like, cause when I see like social media influencers and I see these kids, like these, 16, 17, 20 something year olds doing social media full time, and that's all they do, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I look at someone like that I've been following for quite a bit for her career, and she's in the beauty world, and she's a dark-skinned, beautiful Black woman. Shout outs to Jackie Ina, because everybody asks me, how do I get my experience? Like, where I get my experience from with all of that when it comes to, doing makeup and stuff. I'm like, Jackie is the influence, right? That's who I've been following. And so she didn't start off making money like that. She didn't start off in her career like making all these thousands and thousands of dollars. It took her a long time. And she was just doing it, doing it like that. But I see the growth.
Right. And we realize that for us, the key is consistency. And so we're building our audience. Right. We're building people who rock with us and believe in us. Right. We're educating ourselves more. And we're also, just the key is the consistency. Yeah. So we're working on being consistent, because the ones you see are successful are the consistent ones.
Right. And it's been a challenge, because it's only been like, it's been like a week and a half, but I'm still like, because I'm so used to my routine, and I'm so used to just doing what I do. I'm just used to that, and now I'm just like, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And so, because again, growing up, I was always taught have a job. You work that job, because again, growing up, social media was not a thing. There was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was none of that growing up. I didn't grow up with social media and YouTube and all this other shit, so it's been very much a whirlwind trying to be an influencer and coming out and working a full-time corporate job and transitioning myself out of that.
So let me just say this. I was listening to Bree Bucks. Yes. So shout out to Bree.
Yes.
I was listening to her and her and her partner. They do like every Mondays they'll get on Instagram Live, and they're business owners. And let me say this, because it was a wake up call for me. The first thing we think is, I'm going to get this job and I'm going to quit my job. And, they started their business. They were like, you quit your job. The time to quit your job is when it costs you money to run you know what I'm saying? Too much money to run. Like, you can't afford to keep this job because you're getting your business going and it's costing you money. So pretty much it's nothing wrong, entrepreneurs, if you have your 9-to-5 job. It's nothing wrong with that while you're building your business. Absolutely. It's actually the smartest way to do it. Right. Instead of just, I'm just going to quit and I'm just going to run, my business. These are professional people who they did not quit their jobs. Right. They were working their corporate jobs while they were building their own corporation.
When I started with Bedroom Candy, I started in 2015. I started Bedroom Candy, and nobody knew in my corporate life. I've been able to maintain a level of secrecy, if you will, around the mystique. So those who know my government name know, right? And I keep those things.
What's your government name?
Ain't nobody. Listen, niggas, you trying to be the feds out here. You gonna sit around like you cutting up. For those who know, right? And I keep that mystique very like separate. And so like, it was funny because my coworkers, they always try to figure out, because they know I have a side business, they know, but they don't know what exactly I do. And so they're like, do you sell jewelry? Like, trying to figure out what I do. And I'm like, if you only knew, motherfucker.
You be calling me all the time. That's what I want to tell you.
Right. So
asking me about your sex life and why your husband can't get his do this to do this, and how can he do that? You be like, damn, I'm supposed to be doing my job.
Right. So when I started, it was a very private, kept a secret, didn't tell nobody nothing. And then I would tell people little by little, but I'd be like, you better shut your mouth. You better not tell nobody nothing.
I told my boss that I had a sex expo.
You did?
Yep. And then when I explained it to her, she was like, that's dope. Okay. She thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I told my boss kind of, sort of, but not really. Because when it comes to these white corporations, you know what I'm saying? It's always that fear of you never want to, show your love what your right is doing. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to get into a situation where you telling somebody something, because I've had that happen. Mm-hmm. Where I had a coworker of mine, again, trying to be a friend, and me and her, we used to like to do things. She liked to kick it and hang out. She loved hanging, doing parties and all kinds of stuff. And I told her, back in the day, they used to have at the Celebrity Theater the main event. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know what the main event is, it is a black male review. If you love strippers, if you love male strippers, then you would love the main event. And they used to have it at the Celebrity Theater. And my best friend, shout out to my best friend, and she took me for my birthday, right? She took me for my birthday, and it was the best birthday present at that time in my life, because I was going through a lot. And there was so many videos out. It went viral. Mm-hmm. Didn't even know that the videos were out, right? So but I knew there was pictures of me. And I had told my coworker, I was all.
Oh, you got on stage?
What? Yes, I did. I got pulled up on stage. Let me say this. I got pulled up on stage by that little nigga, okay? Because he was liking all of this. He was liking all of this. And he wanted all of these. And when I tell you, he pulled my bra off. I don't know how he did it, but he was a champion. He pulled my bra off and jumped rope with it.
Hell no. He jumped rope with your bra?
Yeah, he did. He was a savage for that. Savage, you understand me? That little man he picked my big ass up.
I mean, it's their job to amaze. It's almost like anytime you go there, they got
that nigga. You understand me? I'm looking, Candyman.
That was his name,
Candyman. If you ever come back to Phoenix, Candyman, you the. So when I told my coworker this, she proceeded to go on YouTube and find the videos and put it on her Facebook. And there was a whole bunch of people that followed her at the job. And there was so many people. Mind you, we weren't Facebook friends, but I had saw her page, because her page wasn't private. Her page was open to the public. So I went and looked, and there was so many comments from my coworkers calling me disgusting and how dare I do this, and I should be ashamed of myself. And it was just it was a whole thing. And one of my coworkers decides, not only am I going to show the videos at work, yes, it happened. He was telling everybody about it. And HR got involved. It
shouldn't have been. It should have been on them, not you, though.
Right, but again, being black in a very white space, and I worked for one of the largest banks in the world. You're fearful,
right?
Whenever you know, your manager, HR, anything that has to do with HR, you ain't trying to
I know. I kind of became fearless though now. I'm just like, this is me. This is what I do. But
I still have that.
I don't have coworkers on my page no more.
Right. Yeah.
I have, it's a couple, I think, but mainly like one of my old bosses, she left the company.
Yeah.
And so now we're friends. Like, I'm like, okay, we can be Facebook friends.
I don't have nobody following me from work. I don't tell nobody what I do. I'm very like, nah. But again, and the cold part about it is she was a sister. So you would think that she would have my back. Right. It was cold-blooded what she did. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was wrong.
And so it just leaves you to just be like so guarded.
Yeah.
And so when I started the business, I just was like, no, I have to
cut everybody
I
off.
have to cut everybody off. I have to and I had to make a whole new persona. Mm-hmm. So Miss Kiki Love is my alias. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows who, you know what I'm saying? No, very separate.
I know I probably should have did that, but
it's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, you know, people need to be mindful when you are doing these types of businesses, especially in the sex space.
Mm-hmm. You do need to be careful.
If you are still
especially
working,
if you're trying to move up or if you're high up in a position, you do need to be careful. Maybe even create like you did, like a whole separate
you
persona
can't Google
and everything.
Me, you won't find nothing.
Yeah,
I'm smart like that. But you know, what the moral of this is that as Black people, when you are trying to be entrepreneurs, especially what we do in this space, we have to be very, very careful because we still work very white corporate jobs and we still have to tiptoe around and be very cautious, right, of what we do. And so it sucks because we're not coming from a place of like, you know, malice or anything like that. We have very good intentions with what we do.
But it's the topic.
It's the topic.
It's the subject. Yeah.
It's the topic. And, you know, we have to be very careful with what we say and how we say it. And because it's always that fear of retribution,
getting fired, whatever it is of what you're doing.
Because you know, I don't trust none of these hoes like that at the job. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't be listen, when you calling HR, what you calling for? What you calling for?
Well, I had somebody try to call HR to get me fired off some other bullshit.
When they called HR and my boss, my manager, she was like, "Come in." It was literally because I had found out what happened 3 weeks after it happened. So
you didn't even know that stuff was circulating or anything.
So a coworker of mine told me, and she was like, "Kiki, I have something to tell you," because I was working late, and she was like, you know, I wasn't going to say anything. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, so-and-so, again, the person, not her, but another person that was following her, he was showing people the video. And you know, she was telling me, yeah, he showed me the video and I didn't think it was, you know, right. And I was like, he did what?
So wait a minute, what did HR do? Did they get him? He should have gotten in trouble because because he shouldn't have been showing that video. That wasn't work related.
So this is what happened. So again, this happened 3 weeks prior to her telling me this. So did not know that this was going on. So they did a whole investigation. It was a whole thing. Did not know that an investigation was going on. I had called my mother the night that she told me. I called my mother crying. Hey, mama. She was like, what? She thought somebody had died or something. I was like, these niggas tried me at work. She was like, okay, calm down. Because my mama is in the same industry I'm in. And she was like, calm down. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. You gonna get the HR? I want to get these. I want to get that bad. She was like, no, we gonna get HR. Okay. So the next day, I had all this game plan in my mind, but the way that God be set up, right? He already had all the things circulating. Mm-hmm. So my manager called me in the office. She was like, Kiki, can you come in for a second? I need to talk to you. I said, okay. I was like, I was just about to talk to you too. She was like, and she looked at me and we had the same look of, yeah. And so HR got on the phone and she was like, I just wanted to let you know that man is fired. Mm-hmm. Fired.
Yeah, because that wasn't, that's why I was just wondering, because you should not have gotten in trouble. That was something you did outside of work. Right. He brought it into work. I had that situation years ago where something happened outside of work and I went to my boss beforehand and told her that I'm not going to bring it to work, but that person did, and they almost got fired because they was bringing it at work. So you good. I'm glad that it didn't. I thought you were saying they brought you in.
No, they brought me in.
You got in trouble.
No. They brought me in to let me know and said, good. This is what happened. Good. You're not in trouble. I was like, I didn't even do nothing. I was having this conversation outside of work, and she went and they were like, we are.
But it was only the guy. She didn't get in trouble because she put it on her social media. Right. But did you look at that bitch and be like, bitch, what?
Yeah. And I told her about herself, and we are no longer friends.
Yeah.
Cause some black people, you can't fool.
A friend wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Right. You can't be. If I'm telling you something in private, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't go behind my back and then try to search for it on goddamn YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And then put it on your Facebook. Like, what kind of shit is that?
Yeah.
I wanted to punch that bitch in her esophagus.
We had our therapy session. You ain't punch her in her throat.
I didn't.
Her throat.
I didn't.
How you spell throat?
T-H-O-A-K. Right.
Her throat.
Nigga.
Okay, so we just had our therapy session. How do you feel now? Do you feel a little bit better? Sometimes doing this just make you feel better.
I feel
getting
good.
It off your chest.
I feel good. I feel light.
Feel light as a feather.
Yes.
Good. Well, June is it's Pride Month. So we're gonna bring on a special guest, and we're gonna talk about raising black LGBTQ plus children, and just like what is that like, and how do you support and mistake, what are some mistakes we might have made, all of those different things. So really excited. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll bring our guest on. So again, this is Sex, Love, and the Black Experience.
Want to keep in touch with us and what we have going on? Visit our website at omgoddesses.com and join our VIP list. Check out our upcoming events. Need to add to your spicy bag? Well, click on Shop Bedroom Candy for the top of the line bath and body products, makeup, and bedroom accessories. Consider booking us for a fun, sexy, and educational show with your circle. We won't disappoint.
About to kill it.
We are Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses, where we make sex education and discovery fun for the BIPOC community. Join us on all social media platforms as we have amazing events coming your way.
Okay, well, we are back with Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast. And we have our special guest and our friend. She's so special. We love her. I just love it when you just have awesome friends and you say, we're going to talk about something, and you have such great insight. We just like to bring you in. So we're going to have you introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Jay.
Jay. Yay. Yeah. So, we don't talk we're all just like really good friends. Yes. And, I've known you for years and just like, she took care of my babies. Like she loved my baby. I love her babies. You know what I'm saying? And, today we're going to talk about raising children, Black children in the LGBTQ community. Yes. And like, what's that like? How do we come to grips with it? How do we, raise them, support them, mistakes we might've made, things we wish we would have done better. And just like, and how wonderful and awesome our children have turned out. Yes. How about that?
Absolutely that. Yes.
So Jay, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and how many children you have and how many are, LGBTQ, all that stuff.
Okay. So I have 3 sons. I'm a boy mom. My oldest is 36. My middle one will be 28 on the 5th of June. And the baby is 24. He'll be 25 in October. And my oldest and my middle boy are both part of the LGBTQI+ community.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've actually known my oldest, I kind of had an idea. I felt with my middle one, I kind of felt like something, when he was younger. He was really young. But I never said anything. I just, I felt like if he comes to me, then he'll come to me. I have a very open relationship with my kids. So I felt like they always felt like they could come and talk to me about anything.
Right.
So I didn't say anything. He is who he is. That's what I always felt.
Right.
And then my oldest, now it was different with him. I didn't really notice, and it kind of took me aback for a minute when he told me, because he was in his early 20s when he told me.
Right.
But he's just more, he's always been a very just keep to himself kind of quiet, person. We have a very good relationship as well. And he's real open and stuff with me too. But he just has always been a very, keep to himself type of person.
Right.
So I didn't pressure either one of them. They both came to me and told me when they were ready. And my middle boy was like 15 when he finally told me. But I don't know. I always just felt like it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like they're my kid. They're my boys. I tell everybody, like, my kids are my air.
Right.
Like they are why I breathe and how I breathe.
Right.
So it really didn't matter to me. It absolutely did not, does not, never will. They're my babies. And
yeah.
My babies.
So. Yeah. Shout out. Yeah. I love it. Positive parenting and just supporting them. Do you feel like because of even though they didn't, y'all didn't necessarily, you wasn't like, are you gay or this or that? You just kind of, I'm gonna let them do their own thing. But do you feel like it was the relationship that y'all had because y'all could talk about anything else that they felt that they were comfortable enough to even come to you with that?
Yes, I think that was very much so it. That I've always kept an open line of communication with them and told them, like, you can talk to me. Not only that, I also instilled in them, like, and kept good people around me all the time that supported not just me but my children. And I always told them, like, because your kid's not gonna always want to tell mama or papa,
right.
They're not gonna always want to tell their parents everything,
right?
But it's important for them to have someone that they trust,
right,
and another adult that they trust and that can give them, that are going to lead them in a good way, so I always told them that too. If you don't feel comfortable talking to me, that's totally fine. You talk to somebody.
I feel that way, like, about, my kid. My kid will talk to Jay we was on the phone for 6 hours today. I was like, y'all was on the phone for 6 hours. But I thanked you for that, because I said to you, there's things that my kids are not going to tell me.
Right.
And the fact that, he feels comfortable enough to come to you and talk to you. And I already know, your attitude about just everything, and that you can give him, you know, feed into him positivity and love and support. And so I agree with you. It does not matter. And I thank you for that all the time, you know, just being able to be in that,
that's my baby. I said I got 4 boys.
Right. She was like, you know, she was like, you know, you had my baby for me. I was like, okay.
That is my baby. And he know it too. That is
yeah.
Love, man, son.
Man. But yeah, so for me, it's weird because I grew up around the queer community.
Yes.
And was so embraced it. And I remember I used to sell Tupperware back in the 90s, and I used to do Tupperware parties for the drag queens and the queer community. And they were the best customers and everything. And they would have we're in a hotel room and have the drag shows and stuff. And then I'd be in the room with my table set up with the Tupperware. They come up here and we do, you know, and then I recruited some to sell Tupperware. But what happened for me was I got tainted by religion.
Yes.
So then I got involved in the church, and then I was told it was wrong. And I was like, these people I love, you know, I was, cause I was around during the AIDS crisis, saw people dying in front of me, people that I loved. And, you know, just I used to go to the gay church. I was like, it's a gay church. I remember when I first, but it was, you know, just so much love and just everything,
acceptance
and acceptance. And then I was told that it was wrong, and so then I was trying to live a certain way. And so by that time my kids were, you know, my kid who came out to me, I kind of, you know, I didn't handle it right. You know, I was like, you don't know what you are, you know what I'm saying? That whole type of thing. And I felt bad about it, you know, afterwards, like, you know, they gotta fight out here in these streets every day, right? They gotta go out here and be told that God gonna do this, and they going to hell, and all these different things. You want them to feel loved and supported at home, at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
So it was a struggle for me doing that, because I felt like it was like a battle even within myself. And that's why I always tell, you know, when I talk to kids or people who are, you know, in the LGBT community, and they're like having issues or struggling with their parents, it's like, it's nothing wrong with you. It's really their own struggle with themselves. And I'm telling you from my own experience, we want the best for our kids. We don't want them to be hurt. We know how hard it is. And so we project that on our children instead of just projecting love and just letting them feel comfortable.
Right.
Religion, because I've been around the LGBTQ plus, pretty much my whole life, because I grew up in Frisco. And so, you know, I had my junior and senior year of high school, my leasing agent, because we lived in an apartment complex, their daughter was LGBTQ plus, and she was my friend, and didn't see nothing wrong with it. Like, there was nothing. And I remember one of I knew of her. We weren't connected like that, but I knew of her. It was a really big thing that happened. She was murdered, and she was trans. She, you know, was intimate with some men, and found out that she didn't have the parts, right? And, you know, violence happened, and they wind up taking her life. And it was a huge debacle in Northern California.
Did they get arrested?
They did.
Okay.
But it was it went, you know, in huge debacle, you know, but this was in 2002, right? So just imagine, right? The conversations that were happening around that time, right? Because 9/11 just happened. It was just a whole like parallel, right? And this church came down from like Kentucky, I believe.
I think the Westboro Baptist Church. Remember that church? They used to come around with the signs, and all this. They would protest funerals.
Yes, and they protested her funeral.
Yeah.
They came
out. It was a big thing during that time.
When I tell you, it was some most disgusting displays of Christianity that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, God.
And these white folks, like literally, like when I tell you, like, because this was a little the sensitivity during that time, because again, everybody during that time was so patriotic because of what happened with 9/11, and so they were, you know, the signs that they were spewing.
Yeah, because they also used to protest at veterans.
Right.
Like, you know, like if a veteran died, they would protest theirs too, because they were like, it was like against American,
right.
I don't remember the whole thing, but I know it wasn't just LGBTQ. Like they would protest at veterans funerals too.
Just some of the most I won't even say, because it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And so they were just tossing out all kinds of just stuff. And I grabbed a rock. Cause you know I'm real about I ain't got
somebody got that
time, right? So I grabbed the rock and cause it was one of the young ladies. She was like almost the same age as me, and I put it in her hand, and I said,
"Ooh, you brave!" Cause I wouldn't put no rock in nobody's hand.
I put the rock in her hand. There was camera crews.
They don't care,
right? There was camera crews and all types of stuff, and I put the rock in her hand. And I said to her, and I said, "He without sin cast the first stone." So throw the stone. She didn't throw that stone.
I know she didn't.
Right. And I was like, "Listen, you're so sin free, right? You're all of y'all are so sin free. Throw the stone.
Right.
Throw it. Throw the stone." Not none one of them threw the stone. And I said, "Listen, sin is sin. Regardless, it don't have no respect or a person."
And this person was a flesh human being.
Right. And you sitting
Who
up
cares
here.
how she died?
Right.
It was horrible.
Right. Again, she's murdered.
Being.
She was murdered. Like y'all are disgusting.
Yes.
Y'all are disgusting. Ugh. And it just, and I'm like, and y'all coming here to y'all coming here to Fremont, California? Like y'all are coming here, like the Bay Area, like literally, like Frisco from Fremont is literally 25 minutes away. I grew up in Frisco. Like y'all are disgusting.
Yeah,
like this is disgusting.
Came
it's
all
disgusting.
that way to be like that,
I'm like y'all. I'm like, do you know where y'all at? Like y'all are disgusting. So I've had to deal with that type of bigotry. Like I have people in my family that are LGBTQ plus. One of my cousins, he is trans. And my family has not grappled with he is trans. And so they
is he a trans man?
Yes.
Okay.
And they still call him by her. And they still call him by his dead name. And just the things, again, we dealing with old ass black people, right? And when you dealing with black folks that have grown up in the church and that's all they know, and again, like dealing with that, and because I ask him all the time, I'm like, "Cuz, why do you let them call you by your dead name?" And he's like, "You know, they just old. They just," and I'm like, "No, because I be cussing niggas out." Like
that's not my order. If they call me, I don't even respond.
Right.
That's another way. And then they have to be like, you know, then they'll call you because so that's a whole thing about that.
Yes.
With these generations. It's like, I guess sometimes I get frustrated because I feel like there has to be tolerance on both sides.
Yes.
Because sometimes with the younger generation, it's like, you know, you need to get it right all the time. And I may not get it right all the time. You have to have some grace. Right. And also the thing is like, you know, charge it to my heart. Look at my, you know, if I make a mistake, but you know that I respect you and then I'm respecting your pronouns. I love you and all that stuff. Then I made a mistake. Yes. You know, you misgendered me. Don't go there. Okay. Right. Now, if I'm saying to you, but then the older generation, like, you was born such and such, I'm gonna call you such and such. Right. It's like, or I ain't got time for all of that. And you know, you over there doing it. Oh, that's hell. You know, it's like, we gotta have some patience and tolerance on both sides.
We do, but sometimes a nigga need to get cussed out free. I'm just saying, like, because I grew up very churchy, right?
Yeah.
Very churchy. I grew up very churchy. I grew up in a no nonsense type of household, family where that wasn't tolerated. And so I've had to cuss my own mama out. You've met my mama. you have not met my mama yet. You will. But I've cussed her out. Because when she moved down here, we've had to have conversations about that. Because I'm like, not on my watch.
Right. It's just, I really feel like it's a matter of educating. And it's also, you know, you're never too old to learn. And that's the problem. Sometimes people be like, I'm old school. I ain't got time to be learning new stuff. It's like, if you don't learn, you don't evolve, you don't grow. Why would you be on it? What's your purpose of being on this earth? Because because you 60, 50, 60, 70 years old and you like, I know what I know. I ain't got to know nothing else. It's like, then why even, you know what? Just go lay down somewhere and die then. Because you're not even growing. You're not even evolving. You're not understanding, you know, the world around. I don't want to know nothing. I'm just going to go in a hole somewhere. And well, then go in a hole and don't talk to people because you are rude. You are disrespectful. And you have to evolve with like shit we watched on TV years ago. That shit don't fly now.
Not at all.
I have rewatched shit and been like,
I keep wondering about you saying that.
But back in the day, it was funny as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like
I look at things because I love people that know me know I love comedy. Right? I love to laugh, and the things I used to laugh at, I can't laugh at anymore. Like I think about this. Could Eddie Murphy, who is one of my favorite comedians of all time, do Delirious or Raw, one of his both comedy specials?
No, not today. He could not.
He could not and would not be able.
He's talked about that.
Right.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing though.
Yes.
Dave Chappelle did some of the same shit. Remember when they tried to go after him because he said
he didn't say again. I mean, he didn't do that.
It's still like what one word versus another. You see what I mean? They still went after him.
They went after him.
He said he didn't give a fuck. He knew his friend knew how he felt.
Right.
He didn't give a fuck how everybody else felt.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're right. I understand what you're saying.
And I said because I say that to say this because I rewatched like Delirious and I rewatched Raw and I'm like, there's no way on this God's green earth that Eddie Murphy would be able in this time. Right.
He said that too.
To do a Raw.
Yeah.
Right, one of the
funniest shit ever.
How about in Living Color?
Really fun. Right,
you know that was a big thing. Like they were talking about reviving it. It's like
no,
I don't know if you could, especially the Men On series. Some people get upset, you know, about those things. Yeah. But at the same time,
people say, "Oh, we're too sensitive." Nigga, it's not being sensitive. It's about evolving, right?
And being respectful.
It's being respectful. Goofball, like stop with the bullshit.
So then in that situation, let me ask you this, because I'm sorry, the whole thing is like, just because you are in LGBTQ community, you can't laugh at yourself. You can't, you know. So my question on that is then how should that be handled? Because comedy is comedy, right?
Right.
And we all laugh at ourselves. We talk about black people do this, and, you know, and they talk about their home life and how their mama is and everything. So my question is,
but do you have to say slurs though?
No, but here's my thing. Then should it just be left to that community just making fun of themselves and doing the jokes and things like that?
I can't.
Kind of like if a white person was like, black people like this, and we'd be mad as hell,
I feel
right?
I feel like this, right? Because we're not in the LGBTQ plus, right? We know people.
We're allies,
we're allies and all of that. We can't speak on that experience.
Right, but I'm asking that. Like,
three black heterosexual women can't speak for them. We can only speak from our experience as black.
Right, but I'm comparing it to that and saying, like, as black people, we make fun of ourselves all the time, especially in comedy, right?
I look at someone like Kevin Hart, right? And I'm taking it all the way back. So Kevin Hart was on Twitter. This was years ago.
Yeah, years ago. He apologized.
Right. He apologized for what he said. Right.
What did he say?
But there were things
if his son, something about if his son was gay or something.
But he also made a joke about Black women and how Black women don't have good credit, all kind of, and he never got backlash for that. He never got backlash for what he said about Black women, right? So where do we tote the line?
Yeah, but that's the question. It's like, especially when it comes to comedy. And see, for me, I'm really about art. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, don't stifle art, because I have a problem even in our community when, like, like if you write a movie or you make a movie, it's like you always got it's like the NAACP got to come in or something and be like, it has to be positive Black characters. Everybody, it's Black crackheads. It's Black. But what I'm saying is,
probably all got one in our family.
You know what I'm saying? It's Black crackheads. It's Black this. It's Black that.
Right.
So why stifle the art of Black people? White people can be everything,
right?
But we can't. And that's the same thing I feel like even when it comes to LGBTQ. I understand that this is a sensitive time because they're fighting for rights and still continuing in rights. We fighting for rights still, right? But what I'm saying is that when it comes to the art,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't you laugh at yourself? Why can't we laugh at ourselves? And that's the thing. And so I'm like, because even like, I wonder if the LGBTQ comedian, if a comedian came out there and made fun about their own
flame in the road,
right? But they don't. But they got issues with her
because of the way that she does things.
But she's being her. Like,
she is being herself.
That's the problem I have. Everybody is different.
I love Flame.
I love her too.
Hilarious.
Now she doesn't go with the mainstream. It's like there's things that opinions that she stresses that are not the same as mainstream. What's mainstream LGBTQ? But that's the same thing about saying Black people are not a monolith.
Right.
Neither are LGBTQ people a monolith. And so it's like, oh, but you can't represent us because you don't agree with us here. Well, there's all different people and we all are raised differently. You know what I'm saying? And Flame is in that community, and why don't they have to? Why doesn't she have the right to say? Well, he, she, we. That's what she call herself. He, she, we. Why don't he, she, we have the right to say, express how they feel?
I was just literally having this conversation with my youngest son, who is identifies as heterosexual.
Right.
And we were just talking about this because I told you me and my kids have open dialogue.
Right. Yeah.
So I just like in the middle of we watching the movie, and I said, "How do y'all feel about me saying dick?" Do you prefer I say dick or do you prefer I say penis?
And they like, well, why do you want to say that to us anyway, Mama?
No, they didn't say that. They were just like, I don't know. The youngest said it depends on the context.
Right.
And I said, what about pussy? Do you mind if I say that? Or should I say vagina? So I just literally just threw these words out there having this conversation. This is how I talk to my kids, right?
Right, yeah.
So I said, okay, well, what about and what about other, I threw out some more words, some more like derogatory words.
Right.
And so my youngest son, we got on this topic, and my youngest son was like, and I said, well, listen, for me, personally, I don't say that word.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels in my mouth.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I can't explain. Maybe it's because I'm 52 and
I don't like that.
I don't know, but I don't like it. I have two queer sons, and I just don't say it. But my two queer sons, they say it. They don't mind. I've said it in their presence.
Well, that's like us saying nigga.
It doesn't offend them.
We don't.
You know what I'm saying? And I've asked them. Did that offend you when I say that? I just said it and asked because I wanted to know their opinion.
Right.
But like I said, it doesn't feel good in my mouth. So
right.
Say it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I told my youngest son, I said, I feel like I'm not in that community. So I shouldn't say it.
Right.
And that's just me. Just like nigga.
Right.
You're not Black. When we say nigga, it's a whole different. It has levels. There's levels to that shit.
Yeah. Right, but then even in our own community, they'll be like, "Why you saying that word?" Because I want to.
Because it's my mouth.
That's how I feel.
Right?
But no, you can't say it.
No, you cannot. Because I don't know how you feel about it.
Right.
I don't know
you know what I'm saying?
The way you see it,
right.
It's different. Like
right. I agree with you, and I agree in the community. Like you know, when you're not part of that community, you do have to be sensitive and understand where people come from. But at the same time, we should. But at the same time, we should all. There still should be art and the ability for us to be able to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
And so, but sometimes I feel like it's still very sensitive and stifled. And so, and I think just whenever you're in any marginalized community, period, it's always you know, because you're fighting for something or for rights. And then it feel like you as a person, it's like when you were a little kid and you were in the class, you're the only black kid in the class, and they would be like, so Nisha, what is your perspective on the black thing? I'm like, I can tell you my perspective. I can't tell you the black perspective.
I don't speak for the whole black community.
But when you even find, even in our community, it's like you got to go out there every day and straighten up and fly right. Because you don't want these, you know, white folks can't see you like this and all this stuff. So you can't be your true self because and then we stifle even our art and everything, like, you know, oh, I can't play a crackhead because that doesn't represent positive. And I mean, I understand because it wasn't enough art out there, but it's so much art out there now. So much, you can watch so many black films and television shows and everything now, right? But it has to be a wide spectrum. We can't just, everybody can't be Martin Luther King. We can't just do Martin Luther King movies. Selma every time. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go to we gonna be bored as hell.
Listen, we gonna be mermaids.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Hello, shout out to that.
Listen, cause I watched y'all for 3 years when the Little Mermaid was announced. Cause I'm a Disney stan, you understand me? And I watched y'all, and I'm talking about you white people. And I watched y'all give all these goddamn perspectives. Oh, the Little Mermaid can't be black because the Little Mermaid was talking about the book, right? And I'm like, if we go on by that logic, right? The
Why
bitch
you even
died
mad
at the
at
end.
a mermaid?
The bitch died at the end.
Why
of the
you mad?
book.
You
And
know
turned
it's a
into
problem when
sea foam.
somebody mad at a mermaid.
Like, what the hell?
First of all, if you read back, mermaids were not white or black, they were like green and they were ugly, very
That's
disgusting, monstrous looking. They're like, they were.
It's a mythical creature.
I know, but you know, then people will bring in too the whole thing about, well, you know, what about other characters that were always, you know, or like, okay, if it's a historical character, they need to look the part, okay? But if it's something like, if we talking about cartoon,
there was also a talking crab. Should he have been? Should we have? What are we supposed to do with that?
And they got mad.
It's a new Peter Pan.
Yeah, because I have Disney Plus.
Oh, the Peter and Wendy.
Yeah, and so Peter is of Southeast Asian descent, and Tinkerbell is played by a black woman.
Cynthia Erivo, right?
No,
is that what it is?
No, it's Yara Shahidi.
Oh,
it's played Tinkerbell.
Okay.
And so, do you know these niggas got upset and was like, Tinkerbell's always white. Why are y'all doing this? Do that. I'm like,
it's all about but it's about representation.
I said, listen,
like, you know, people got upset. Then they get upset too with In the Heights.
That's the problem. People just want to.
They got upset with In the Heights.
People just wake up and just want to find something to be mad about.
Yeah, I love to see stuff because they didn't represent a lot of Afro Latinos.
Right, because In the Heights,
but the play did, I think.
Right, because In the Heights, right, because I watched it. It was an amazing film. We'll give it that. But to sit up here and see nothing but white Latino people, and you know, I'm like, dog, what we doing? We know that there are black people that look just like you, just like me, that you know what I'm saying? Like, we not gonna sit up here and erase an entire people out of this thing. So when we're talking about representation, we gotta talk about the whole thing. So yeah, y'all be whining and crying about nonsense, talking about a goddamn fish that ain't even real.
Right.
Y'all talking about a goddamn fairy. There ain't no fucking fairies,
But
dog.
the question is how good was she in it? Was she amazing in it? Was she awesome in it? Did she sing? Was she, you know what I'm saying?
Like you said,
that's what I'm saying. And that's the most important thing.
See it because I'm going to see the Little Mermaid.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to see
And
it too.
I'm going to boo-hoo cry. Cry, baby, cry when I go and see it. And I did not know in The Little Mermaid that all of her sisters
are all different
ethnicities.
Oh, wow.
One of them is dark skinned chocolate. One of them is Asian.
Oh, I can't wait.
One of them
Me
is
too.
Southeast Asian.
But that movie has representation. It got white people in it too. It's it's a representation of all different. The very first time I ever saw that and was excited when I saw Cinderella with Brandy.
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Like was a godmama.
Impossible.
Right.
First of all, the godmama wasn't even in there that long, but it was Whitney, so they had her in the whole damn movie. I said, she rolled on the carriage. Impossible. I was like, damn bitch.
And I cried then.
I was like,
Because she had these beautiful braids.
Yeah, but I was just laughing because I was like, the godmama pop up and then she pop out.
Right.
That bitch was out. She was at the end. Possible. She was possible. I was like, she's still
But that's what I'm saying. Like the whole film, right? The whole film, the cast was so diverse. And this was in the 90s. This was it's never been done before. So when we're talking about diversity, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
And people everybody should want to see that because for so long we did not see that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we better get back on topic.
Right. But because they were one more thing, because they was talking about
one more thing.
Yeah, because they pissed me off.
Okay, I know. I can tell. I feel it.
Me mad.
I know. I feel it. I feel it. It's radiating.
Because I love Disney and I love Disney princesses and all that kind of stuff. And they was talking about Princess Tiana. I said, you better not.
What you not gonna do?
Right.
Let's talk about
and they was like, what? They was like, well, what if she become white? Hold up. Wait a minute. First of all, that was a actual real life person.
Yes.
Right. That they based the character off of.
Yes.
Leah. Shout out to the chef legend.
Come on.
Leah Chase.
Come on, Leah.
Okay. Like, we're not going to do this New Orleans legend. Right. Chef Queen, Leah Chase. So we're not even going to do that.
Right.
They based that character off her. A whole black woman. Right. So
and they did it for diversity because all the princesses, we had white princesses,
Right.
so they brought a black princess. And then they got native. They have like all different princesses.
We still don't have
like,
a Latin. We still don't
all
have
the
a Latin princess.
yeah, all the cartoons now, but they're starting to be
Diverse.
Like I saw Encanto, and it was amazing. But
That was a fucking amazing movie.
I'm gonna tell you.
I've seen it like 3
I'm gonna
times.
tell you the theme that I got from Encanto is that it was about family PTSD. It was about how families like our great grandmothers and great grandmothers they carry they come from so much trauma. That's what it was, family trauma, and they pass it down to the family even though they try not to. It still passes down to the family, and that's what I got from that.
Went down before it got stopped.
Yeah.
Look how many
that was deep, but it was a cartoon and it was deep. I watched that whole thing, was like, this is deep,
and I was crying. I was like,
it was beautiful. Yeah, Encanto was amazing. It was amazing.
That was a very
crying.
beautiful
I
wanted to ask you something though.
Yes.
So when I'm gonna ask you this, what would you like in terms of like when your kids came to you and they came out and things like that? Do you feel like in knowing that or whatever, if there were certain mistakes you made or things you would have done differently or changed?
That's a good question. So first of all, I gotta say, my kids are fucking dope. You hear
okay.
me? Do you hear me? I couldn't ask for better. I couldn't ask for better.
They
My
are.
sons
Your kids are dope.
Kings. You hear me?
They dope.
Kings. My kids are dope.
I love all my man sons.
And I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky, so blessed to have that they are the men that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what's helped me. That really actually helped me. And when I tell you, they teach me so much.
Yes.
Even at them being adults, I learned so much from them, right? But I do have to say that at first, when they first told me, like, I think the middle one told me first, and then the oldest one told me. So after the oldest one told me, there was a brief moment, and I've shared this with my kids as well. There was a brief moment where I was like, damn, did I do something?
What I do? Right. You be thinking, did I turn them that way?
Right. What did I do? Cause you know, like,
right.
I'm a big fan of Iyanla. Like, some people don't like Iyanla, but I'm a big fan. And she said a man is who his mother makes him. Right. So, and I firmly believe that. Right. But
beloved.
Thank you. Beloved. Right. But that's why I said I had to like preface it by saying my kids are fucking dope, because they have I think me just allowing them to be who they are, they have just flourished and just like flown into these beautiful black men. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That are raising me now. You hear me? Yes. It's on everything, not just LGBTQ, but like life, man. Like, They just fucking amaze me. Like, they amaze me every single day. My youngest one is fucking blind. And this boy done been all over the place.
Yes.
On the plane.
He ain't blind. I'm telling you, I still don't believe he blind. Listen, we was on a cruise. I just gotta tell you, we was on a fucking cruise ship.
Yes.
And you know how big them cruise ships were?
Yes.
Our ass,
pop up.
he just popped up. We were he was like, hey, he found us. We like,
first of all, how the fuck you know we was at?
We was like, you ain't blind. She was moving out of state, right? And so we was loading the truck, and they was like, give it to Chris. I was like, Chris blind, he moving. He was taking boxes and putting them in the damn truck, and then he had a cut on his face. I say, you cut yourself. He's like, oh, I probably cut it on the truck.
He hit his head on the
He hit his head. He moving
and
shit.
kept going.
I have never. He has taught me. I was like, it's. Bitch, get up. You can do anything. Shit, like, you better not say you can't do nothing.
I said, there is no way.
Man.
Every day. Everything.
2 of your sons are disabled as well.
My middle one's in a wheelchair.
Right.
Yeah.
He has autoimmune disease.
And so, you know, I look, when I see Jay's children, and I be in awe, because I'm like, there's nothing.
And you ain't met the oldest. You met Ryan? Oh, cause we went to when we went out of town. Remember we came to see you? Yep.
Yeah, he at H-Town hiding now.
I know. We got to get down there.
I'm going to see him next month.
She going to see my baby too.
Yeah, and I'm going to see my other baby.
Boy, look.
For his birthday. I'm gonna give him some hugs.
I know I got the case of the FOMOs, fear of missing out. Like, I was really trying to book a trip. I was booking a flight to Houston just so I could go, seriously.
That wasn't my plan though. You know, I was just gonna go see my son in Houston. Right. But Cam's birthday, I said his name.
That's okay. We said it the name before.
Oh, okay. His birthday is on the 16th.
Yes.
And I was gonna go to Houston for Juneteenth. That was my plan from 18th to 21st. And so when he came to visit the last time, he was like, yo, I should just come to Tulsa. And I was like, well, shit, I ain't never been to Tulsa.
Right.
That'd be nice.
And he having a badass birthday party and shit. I can't go. My feelings hurt.
Go to Black Wall Street for Juneteenth.
Yeah. So y'all gonna go to Greenwood.
And I'm gonna fly out on the 16th. And then me, him, and my other bonus daughter and my middle son, we're gonna drive to Houston, which is 7 or 8 hours. So I rented a car.
And y'all gonna go to Turkey Hut?
Oh, the turkey. We got a lot of places we got to eat. We going to be full as hell the whole weekend.
Girl. When I tell you, man. I was on the internet looking for a flight directly to Houston. Because I was like, I might miss the birthday, but I'll just fly to Houston and just fly back with everybody. But I was like, I can't. Sometimes you just can't. I'll just, some shit. Damn. I was like, damn. I feel like my children teach me a lot of stuff too.
Yeah, them boys, I'm telling you, those my kings. Now those my first kings.
Especially about LGBTQ. Like, I didn't know pronouns. Right. I didn't know what pansexuality was. I didn't know about flags.
And when I tell you,
I didn't know about none of that.
They my go-to.
Yeah. And
I heard such. what does that mean? And how does it, what am I supposed to do with that? Do I do it? Am I responsible for something?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they get me together. They get me, and I have another bonus daughter.
Right. Then you want to ask them about something. You be like, so how is how is lesbian sex? Like, what is that like?
Because I have
do y'all rub it together? Like, you mean what?
My 2 bonus daughters are friends of Ryan.
Right.
I met my oldest. Oh shit! I said his
yeah.
He probably gonna. Anyway, they're my 2 oldest sons. My 2 bonus daughters are friends of his that I met through my oldest son.
Yes.
And so now, like, this is my Mother's Day gift. He bought me these earrings. They say because they all call me Mama J.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah. So they call me Mama J. So one identifies as lesbian, and the other one identifies as just queer. You know.
Yeah, I know a lot of people just say they're queer because they're
Yeah. So it's just a wide range, right? So like you said, I be having conversations with them, and because I'm not their actual mother,
right?
They'll be
like
open to
I can be sister, auntie, friend, whatever.
Yes.
So we can be sitting having a conversation. I didn't ask them like, do you put the strap on?
Yeah. Remember we were talking about the whole thing about pillow princess and all this stuff. Like,
I'm like, back in my day, it was just bumping coochies, and I'm sure things have evolved since then, right?
Scissoring, yeah.
I'm at work now,
right.
So they didn't got me together.
That you can
together.
You can be open and ask those different questions. And see, my child, what came out, they identify as non-binary, and this is my youngest, and they came out to me, but at the time when they came out, at first they came out as lesbian, and they wanted to go to 1 in 10, and I was like, what's 1 in 10? Which is an awesome organization here in Phoenix for LGBTQ teens. They help support them and stuff. So I went, and all these flags were up, and I was like, it's a flag for everybody? Like, I didn't so like I learned, from them. And then one of the kids said pansexual, and I was like, pansexual? Like, so I'm over here Googling. I gotta Google everything and stuff. But it was just like really cool, but I felt, even though like, in the beginning I was acting a nut, about church and being a fanatic type. I changed, but I changed that, and then I kind of became more open. And I felt blessed that, they were able to come to me and be like, Mom, I want to go to 1 in 10. And I was like, well, what's that? And then I took them, because I wanted them to have somewhere where they felt comfortable and found other people that they felt comfortable with. But so they taught me a lot about the community and, supporting and just the things that they go through. I applaud. And so this would trip me out to this whole thing about all these laws about transsexual and stuff like that. I mean, transgender. It's like, it's very brave to be who you are, to be yourself, to sit there and say, I was born this way, but I don't feel this way. Right. And I'm going to go and put a dress on or dress the way I feel that makes me feel comfortable. Do you think people are lying about that? Like, they're playing around. That's a hard decision to make. Right. And so my child is going to do that. My child, then I want them to be able to come home and be as comfortable and safe as they want to be, because like they got to go out here and fight the whole community, the world every single day. And so that was how I changed my mind.
Not only being black, because that's a whole ball of wax within itself, right? But then being queer as well, and
more so with the black community. I feel like sometimes the black community are harsher than and then what you got to find too is that a lot of the rights and what they're fighting for, sometimes they still forget the marginalized communities. So even though you might be LGBTQ, but being black LGBTQ, like remember when we watched Pose, like, and they were talking about the transgender, like all these different rights for gay people, they didn't really focus on the marginalized communities, the Latino and the black communities. So they were still always left out in the cold. And so the fact that then you're left out in the cold, and then you come to your own community,
and then gotta be
and then they ostracize you, and it's like, that's a hard pill to swallow. That's really, really hard, just to be yourself, just to be who you are, just to love who you want to love. and express yourself. And so, and that's where you find, and I didn't want my children to be suicidal and to feel like nobody loved them or supported them, or that they weren't worthy because of who they were.
I really feel really like a deep pain in my heart for a parent who does not accept their child when the child doesn't turn out the way they expect.
Right. And that's what it is.
You push your child away. Do you know how beautiful it is for us to have raised these kids from babies and watch them grow into these like beautiful humans? Adults making these decisions, and being fearless and
brave, being brave.
If I die tomorrow, though, I know I did 3 things right, and I can't nobody tell me no different.
Right.
So I really feel a real deep pain in my heart for parents who just push their kids so far away that they don't want to be bothered with.
I think a lot of it's fear.
All because they don't want to.
It's fear,
especially like I said, because I grew up very churchy. Especially if you grew up in the church.
And that's still fear.
Right. Yeah, and it's pushed upon. It's tussled at. It's like the biggest, like I said, it's like one of the biggest no-nos that you can ever like do. You can do everything else. You can shoot your mama in the foot. You cheat on your taxes. You can do all that other bullshit. But being queer, nigga, you done
the world's coming to an end now.
You done literally like you done cut up.
Yeah. But I think also too, and I'm going to tell you from my own perspective, it's not even just the fear of the church and all of that, but it was also fear because you know that this world is they're going to go out here and not be accepted. Yeah. And so a lot of times we project as parents our fear on our children instead of letting them just like, you can have the conversation like, it ain't going to be easy for you because we know how the world is, but I support you. You know what I'm saying? So you always got an ally here, right? But, and I applaud you for being brave to go out there because you know the world don't accept you.
Like I
applaud you.
Like when I was watching, it was so funny, right? Because I told you I cussed my mom out like many moons about certain things that and once we had an understanding, right? She watched Pose for the first time.
Wow.
And she was like,
fire.
Right? And she was just like, oh wow. I didn't, and she watched.
But that's why representation is important because it humanizes people.
Yeah. She was like, I love the damn. I was like,
yep.
Because again, having that and I am not in the LGBTQ plus, but I am an ally.
Right.
And so being an ally means doing the fucking work.
Right.
And so you have to push back all the time and move forward because again, a lot of these old school ass antiquated ass bullshit I'm just not going to tolerate. You are not going to talk to me in that tone of voice.
Right. But see, what you just said is that's why representation is important because it humanizes people. Like when you see more black people and more people of color in specific communities, right? I mean, in specific shows and things like that, it humanizes them. And a lot of times you have people who have never seen people in specific communities, right? Because they're little in their own little bubble. So to be able to see the representation, I think it humanizes people. Like when she watched Pose, like when I watched Pose, I cried. They have very real, they have emotions and stories. Like when the one young man, his father kicked him out, and then he found his family in the trans community.
When it pissed me off when I was watching the first season because they found out that he was, when he was queer and he finally came out, and when his father beat the shit out of him and then kicked him out of the home. Again, it was
he wasn't even 18 yet.
Right.
Had kicked the baby out.
How he was gonna live.
Right.
Or what he was gonna see. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but a lot of children are doing
that as a like that. You've been entrusted with a whole nother human life,
right?
Guiding them. You know what's here.
Yeah.
They don't know what's here. You have been entrusted with this life. And you just push them to the street
for something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's reasons why you might have to put your kid out.
Right. But for that, because
because they want to be free and represent who they are and stuff like that. I don't understand that.
What about what's her name's her mom when she went back? She was a whole adult and her mama was still an asshole. Mm-hmm. Remember what's the one used to
AJ
Dominique. Her character, her real name is Dominique Jackson. What was her character name? She was the one with the bougie one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Look how old she was, and her mama was still an asshole her whole life, and she had to go back grown, and she's still an asshole. Like, how do you just
throw your kids away?
What? It takes so much fucking energy to be like that. First of all,
it does.
That's a lot of fucking energy to be mean and just be nasty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
And I'm sorry. I've had the queer community is some amazing, talented, just full of love, just spirited, just awesome people. And like, you throwing away a whole bunch of amazing people.
You don't know
by
what
being,
you're missing. That's what I'm saying with being a parent.
Yeah.
You missing out on a whole beautiful human being. An experience you be experiencing with them because you want to throw them out because they want to be who they are. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's just, it blows my mind. It really blows my mind.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So
have you run into parents, or have you run into? Well, one thing I want to say, I remember when you were dating and you had brought up, the first thing you prefaced to the person's like, my children are this, they're queer, they're this and that. You can't be with me or be around me if you don't accept, if you're not accepting of this community. I mean, I applaud you for that, because I think that, matter of fact, because if you bring in different people in your life, you don't need that energy, because they are going to interact with your kids. Have you run into people who have like said some bullshit to you about your kids and you had to check them?
Probably. I mean, I probably have. Ain't no telling. Like, I'm going to jail of hell for mine. So I don't care who you are, because like I said, I was entrusted with these 3 lives. So my daddy can get it. My mama can get it.
Come on.
My auntie can get it. They can all get it. These is mine. Till I get put in the ground, they mine. I don't care if they 150 years old with 69 kids, 433 grand. I don't care.
Right.
Those is mine, and I'm gonna protect them every stance. Right. And I raise them like that. When you wrong, I'm gonna tell you wrong.
Right.
I'm gonna stand with you in these streets, but I'm gonna tell you wrong. Right. You ain't never got to worry about mama stat. I'm a mama bear. And I'm gonna come at you real hard. When I got married, like I said, my oldest son, he's very like private. He keeps his stuff to himself. So he presently has a partner who has a same-sex partner, right? So he brought him to the wedding, right? We were on the cruise ship. Well, my parents were coming, and we thought they didn't know. Like, I don't know if they saw it on Facebook. It's not like, I was just having this conversation too with another friend of mine. Like, heterosexual people don't sit their family down and be like, hey, so I'm a girl and I like boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But gay people feel like sometimes they gotta come out. Hey, so I know I'm a boy, but I like boys. Like, why? So
why?
Yeah. What's for?
If you see me with somebody, then you know.
If you got a question, feel free to ask.
Right.
But other than that, so I wasn't sure how some of the people in my family or friends who weren't aware that he was in that relationship or whatever. But I told them, under no uncertain terms, I will cancel, or I will put it in, I will level all this shit. I put all shit stop to all of this shit, because before I say I do to anyone else, the 3 people that gonna have to be there is my kids.
Your babies.
Period.
So if you want to act out, you can act out. But tell me now, because I will shut it down over these, okay? So my kids, my son was like my oldest. Ma, you just doing too much. You ain't got to, okay, but I'm telling you, the one thing
you was trying to be preventive. You were being preventative and trying to you were like let me let y'all know.
I didn't want to have to push my own mama or daddy over the edge of that cruise ship.
Come on.
Right.
But I would have very much that over my children.
Right.
Okay?
And they were fine with it, right? They was okay. I know. But you don't know.
I just get riled up when it comes. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, like, they got to go out here in these streets and fight. They not going to ever have to fight here. And they can always know this is home.
Yes.
Right? So I just want to be preventative, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't want no problems.
Yeah.
I don't want no problems. No, we want to start something. I'm going to end it.
Yeah. But I've learned too, like when I don't assume that relationships are heterosexual either now. I'm trying to, so when people say like, you know, I'm like, oh, you got a husband or you got it's like, you know, are you married or you have a partner? That's what I always.
And it throws people off a lot too when I say it, because generally speaking, a lot of people, when you say partner, they automatically think same sex. I've had that experience with people.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Because I have
your husband or your wife is your partner.
I have said it about the person I'm with, like, oh, well, my partner, and they'd be like, oh, so are you lesbian? I said,
no.
Right.
Yeah,
they're my life partner.
Right. But I know, but I think for me, it's like, especially because my child being non-binary, like, I don't say, like my son says, I talk to my sibling. That's what he says. Yes, he does. And then I say, you know, my child. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't say, you know, I can't say my daughter anymore. Right. I mean, I got the her and him, and, you know, I say they, them, but I also, you know, saying daughter, that's still a feminine pronoun. Right. Or, you know, or didn't say my sister, that's still a feminine pronoun. So he says my sibling. And I say my child. And so it's taught me to, for me, it taught me to also not be assumptive, you know, assume out in the community, because it's like, and I run into a lot of people, but like, yeah, my wife, and they just, you know, and I'm like, okay, and so I try not to automatically assume that everybody's heterosexual until they say otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Period. Like, I think that's a good way. Yeah, to do it, you know. Just don't assume. But
I learned that because of my child. Like, even like what I learned from them was when they explained to me that trans is an actual, it's the same as saying gay. It's like an umbrella term. So if a person is intersex or if a person is non-binary, that's all. If they're intersex but they don't identify as what they were assigned, it's what it is trans means you don't identify with what you were assigned at birth. So if you're non-binary and you say you don't identify, you were born female, but you say I don't identify as that, you're trans. I didn't know that until my child explained that to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow. So it's like the same, you know how people say like they're gay. Well, a lesbian can be gay. Bisexual can be gay. You know what I'm saying? So it's that thing, that umbrella term. So I love having those open dialogue and be able to ask questions that maybe would be weird if I went to somebody that I really know and ask. I can talk to the people that I love and get the real deal, you know, Holyfield.
You know what I'm saying? 2023, baby, and we ain't go. That's back there. We moving forward,
and I'm almost 50, and I can't stay where I'm at and be like, well, you know, when I was growing up, it was like this.
But you might as well, like you said, just
go in your room and just be a hermit and don't ever come out.
You need
you don't know how to interact with people. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And now everybody, and then people get mad because jobs are being inclusive and this and these pronoun people and the pronouns and stuff. And it's like, you know, is that really gonna bother you to call them they? Is it really?
Did you die?
You know, I do admit that first sometimes I struggle with it because I was like, I'm calling a singular person they. You know, a plural. What's always been considered plural, but it wasn't as hard for me because again, I went into the you know, back in the day in the queer community, they would speak like that. Like, you know, they would say they, because they didn't want other people to know that they were talking about, you know, a same-sex person. So they have been around for a very long time. It wasn't non-binary, you know, but that's how the queer community spoke. Wow. Like, yeah, I'm going over their house and they, you know, but they were talking about one person. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it wasn't that hard for me, but it was just, it was at first. I was like, but you're one person, I'm calling you plural. But I would respect that. Right. Because that's what, you know, how you identify. But but that's where I say the grace comes in, because if I make a mistake and say she, it's like, I mean, I had you for, you know, majority of your life, you were this. And so, you know, give me some grace in that. And when we had that conversation, they were okay with it. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, they knew. And then, you know, my mom has dementia, so my mom ain't gonna remember they and them or their name that they changed. So my mom,
she might not even remember their name.
Yeah, well, she remembers the name, but but I love the fact that my child gives them grace, gives her grace, because she has dementia. Yeah. She's not gonna remember you, so she's gonna call you the name she know when you was born forever, and they respect that. Yeah. And then and even like their partner who is trans, they respect that, and that's where I'm talking about the grace. Like, you got to understand the circumstances and understand the heart. If I'm doing it in a shitty way, like I ain't calling you that, that's different. But
that's the whole. I think that's part of the whole problem. Like you were saying, like it's humanizing.
Right.
People don't. We gotta just be people. We humans first.
Right.
We're human beings first.
Right.
If you can just let's roll with that first.
Got you.
I'm a human being. You see what I mean? So respect me. Right. Let's have mutual respect for one another. Right. And if I tell you that's not what I want to be called, then don't call me that. Yeah. If I tell you I want to be called a frog, then call me a goddamn frog. Like, does it hurt you to call me what I ask you to call me? Yeah. Like, you don't have to be all in my business and ask me why and what this and that. This is what I prefer to be called.
And the key thing is that when your children are thriving, why do you care? I just want somebody to love them the way they deserve to be loved. And I want my children to thrive, and I want them to feel worthy of who they are, and that they can do anything. It don't matter, how they identify, who they love, where they, just be the best that you're going to be, and don't let nobody treat you, otherwise. And you know what I'm saying? So I would rather you be miserable and be with somebody that you don't really care about or you don't love, than to be with somebody that fully understands you, embraces you, loves you. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I want, is I want my kids to be happy and thrive. That's the most important thing.
That's right.
Well, speaking of that, so
that's amazing.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, so bedroom candy is very, very inclusive, and we are very proud of that. And they have some amazing LGBTQ friendly products. And since it's Pride Month, I wanted to bring out.
You got to show the box. Show the
So I'm like, where you get that box? I might want to give me one.
Yeah, this is the.
Hold on, let me show them
the candy coated lipstick Pride collection, right? So some different cool colors, and I will show some.
Yeah, I'm about to order me another one. It's like 6 different colors.
There's 6 different colors in this collection.
And then the lipstick is very moist and beautiful.
Yes, and I'm actually wearing, well, not the Pride color, but I'm wearing one of the lipsticks. It's called Date Night.
Okay.
Was this raspberry, dark raspberry.
It look good on you too.
Yeah, so this one is called
Beautiful. And that one has the trans flag.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's the purple.
I need this.
Yes, it's got green and blue and all beautiful colors.
I need that before I go to Houston.
Yeah.
I need that.
So this one.
And I'm gonna place an order so we can.
Okay.
You Can't Think Straight. So, and again, it has the Love Is, the magnetic cap.
That's what I love about the magnetic cap, because if you know what I'm saying, it's in your purse, it's not going to open up and then everything, your receipts, your gum, everything red.
And this is yourself on the side, but it is called, hold on one second, it is called Sunshines and Rainbows.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So look at that.
Okay.
Now that's real pretty with like a nice like liner. That these are fun colors.
These are very
that you can wear.
Very fun colors. And then we have this one. This is called Limelight.
Yes.
So
I need those for Houston.
Very bright, very bold, and we have believe 6 colors.
Yeah, I think one of them we started. One of them is called the blue one. Is it the blue one? It's called Bye Girl. Yeah. Like for like bisexuality. Yeah. But it's like all different. Just celebrating the rainbow, just celebrating pride, and just showing people that you can be who you are. And then one way you can celebrate it, even if you're an ally, is to buy the candy coated collection. Right. So you can go on our website on omgoddesses.com and then click on shop bedroom candy. and have at it.
Yes.
There's actually a category on there that's for LGBTQ plus.
Yes.
And so a lot of times when we talk about sex, sexuality, or just feeling beautiful, self-care, all of those different things, you know, that has no color, that has no sexual, you know, sexual preference or anything. Everybody deserves to be loved. Everybody deserves pleasure, and everybody deserves to be beautiful, feel sexy, beautiful, handsome, however you want to feel.
Yes. And so going with the self-care, right? We all need a little self-care. So this is one of our nourished from our whipped body butter collection, and this is in the fragrance tropical guava. I'm gonna let
I don't know. Can you do the? Yeah, you can do. You do our.
I put it on my hand. It's not.
Yeah. I know she has sensitive skin, so we have to be. But when it comes to
that
bedroom candy products, my
bedroom candy products. I don't.
She can work with them.
Loves bedroom candy, y'all. She.
Oh, this smells amazing.
Right.
Oh, I need this before we go to DR. I want to be walking on the beach.
She want to be tropical. And so the final product of the day for our spicy bag is one of our newest toys, and it's called R&B. And so this is a cock ring, but it has some
bunny ears.
Yeah.
Has the rabbit ears.
And I want y'all to hear it.
That's just on one.
Right. That's gonna get you together.
You gonna
be jumping up off the bed.
But it's great. It's a couple's ring because it gives the vibration sensation. It has a bullet in there that's removable. So now it's like two toys in one, right?
So it goes just like this. So y'all can see. And it's just going. Look. It's just going.
Damn.
Right. It's going. And so you put it on the base. Again, lots of lube. And then once you put it on, right, he's going to feel it. You're going to feel it. It's going to be a good time in the city.
Right.
How stretchy is that?
It's very stretchy.
Yeah. So if you you got
if you got if
long dong, duck dong,
he got his width.
Right, but what it also does at the base of the penis is that it's going to hold that erection for a longer period of time
because it is removable. So this bullet is also removable. So if y'all don't want to use the cock ring, that's totally fine. But you can remove the bullet and then have fun with that. But I'm gonna let you feel that, friend.
And no, we don't do batteries, so that's not battery operated. That's
the one thing I love about BK. Baby, everything got a USB, baby.
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time to be bad batteries.
Be lasting long.
Yes, they do. It love me long time.
And
the rabbit ears, what that does is that hits that clitoris. $49.
Oh, yeah, this is $49.
This is on one?
No. That's on 3. But one is just as powerful. And it has 10 speeds, 10.
You can also use it like this if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Put it on your finger.
Yeah.
Like the
finger vibe.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of things.
You can do a lot of things. And that is R&B. And again, that is one of the cock ring.
Listen. This thing probably will go across the floor.
It's powerful. It's powerful.
Come on, jump. We like to jump. And again, this is USB chargeable. It is also waterproof, so you can play in the bath and all that good stuff. So we love R&B, y'all.
I like that R&B.
So yeah, so all of these things that I just purchased, including the cock ring, including the
and we have
dildos.
We have strap-ons.
Yes. We have 2 different types of straps.
Yeah.
So we have the harness, and then we also have the hot pants. So if you're into any kind of pegging play, we have that for you, right?
All right,
yeah. So we have a lot of things at Bedroom Candy for the LGBTQ plus community. We also have a vibrator for anal play, and it's called Thrust. We love that. We love that.
Anal play is fun.
Anal play is fun.
So if you don't let nobody tell you that, oh, black people don't do it, it's bullshit.
Cap. What the kids be saying, Cap.
Right.
It's a good time. But that was a spicy bag for this week, y'all.
Yes.
Bag.
And probably be on the lookout for us on our social media and stuff. Yes. We'll be always talking about, throughout the month, we'll talk about Pride.
Yes.
Did you guys know, remember we did, so for Black History Month, we feature Sean Cypher Walls,
yes.
Who is intersex, and he's really big on the he's a really big activist about, basically they're performing surgeries on children. Because, with intersex children, everybody's so big on, y'all doing surgery for trans. But when babies are born and they're intersex and they make them pick to pick, assign gender, then leaving them alone and letting them figure it out on their own and making that decision when they're older. Wow. So Sean Cypher Walls was born intersex. And they encouraged his parents to change him to female, but he had gonads, is what they called him. He had balls, basically. But and then they convinced the parents to remove them because they told him it was cancerous. Yeah, and then they tried to wanted to do other surgery. So it's like they're doing these surgeries on these little children, and intersex activists are saying, no, don't, leave these babies alone. Don't do that, because you're assigning them something. He didn't feel like a girl. See. He identifies as male now. So let the children, let them make that decision. So there, when I was at the theater, there was a trailer for a movie called Every Body. That's what I did. Every period body. And it's all around the intersex community. Oh, wow. So if you guys if you get a chance, check out that, when it comes out, check out that documentary called Every Body.
Yes. For sure.
Yeah. For sure. But thank you so much, Jay, for joining us.
Hello. My girl.
I know, it just felt like we was sitting in the living room. And what we about to do next, we about to chill in the pool. Yes. So thank you for coming, and thank you guys for tuning in to Sex, Love, and the Black Experience with Orgasmic Melanin Goddesses.
Thank you for watching Sex, Love, and the Black Experience podcast. Please continue to tune in and keep watching, and follow us at omgoddesses.com. Join our VIP list, or Facebook and IG at omgoddesses20 and Twitter at omgoddesses.
And well, we are the dynamic sister duo, and we do fun sex events here in Phoenix, and we're both sex educators, me and my lovely business partner.
It's easy to sit and lecture about sex. Okay, today we're going to talk about this topic when it comes to sex, but we wanted to bring it in a more fun and inclusive and just sexy environment.
Yeah, the Melanated Sex Expo is literally, and I'm trying not to get emotional because it's been such a long journey, but it was literally giving birth right before my very eyes, and I don't even have children. It was something that was created from my head, from God's vision and I hope everybody's hearts, and I hope everybody felt it.
We want Phoenix to be the premier place that every year people will come here for our Melanated Sex Expo. They will immerse themselves in the city of Phoenix and see all that it has to offer. But at our event, they will also get to see all the talented people here who, have so much to offer when it comes to business and when it comes to sexual health and wellness.
You can expect fun. You can expect sexiness, kinky things, laughs, and having a good time.
So I would say everybody. You can be young, you can be old. It doesn't matter what color you are. Of course, we say that we is for the BIPOC community or melanated community. But if you love melanated people, then you are our people too.